Toxic Doctor gonna be first up versus Elo, immediately starting up with the dots. Elo with an Metamorphosis off the bat? Is it just Elo trying to go super giga damage off the get-go? Before Toxic even starts, or maybe just using meta just to remove the damage, is getting those demon surges proccing. Turtle Shell down, so Toxic does not need to get out of there. He got a wyvern up in the sky, flying around, buffing up his damage as well as his best damage. Elo tried to see if they could reconnect with a bit more damage. Playing the Felscard, which is going to be scarred very, very soon, is going to potentially be a lot of immolation damage that you can do with that. So that immolate damage could be huge. Elo just trying to see if he can catch up to Toxic Doctor. Is going to be an immunity, not immune to CC, but immune to damage. Freezing Trap likely. Yep, waiting around the corner. Imprison on the pet. Stun onto Toxic. Should have just stood there where you were. No, this is why if you dual land a stone on the hunter, you need to stand still. Whatever angle you have for damage, that's what you gotta use. Fury of the Eagle, however, I think is gonna end up taking down Elo. That or Grenades do. One of those two abilities is gonna take you. With Blank, the Windwalker gonna be up next. No, but it's a point of like get rid of our Wizard, drop it. Yeah. I'm just trying to get one more item to finalize my build. Just to feel like, okay, I did it. I've been able to one-shot everything else, every boss whatsoever. I haven't tried one-shot Lilith on like tier 4 or anything. But yeah, I'm just trying to get like one last item and then we'll call it. Just so I'm like, okay, I got the build. Now quit. Now I can just sit there and rot. Be wasted away. But Blade, try to see if you can catch up to Toxie if he can find him. Toxie getting that camo and get as much of a reset as needed. That's actually perfect for him. He needs some cooldowns. Trinket not available for a while. Human racial technically usable. No turtle shell for a while. And Blade does not see his pets or Toxie. I think you would see him around the corner here, right? You see the enchant? Or does the enchant look invisible? I would think you would see the pet. Though the hunter camo is very difficult in the eyes. Like rogues, you can kind of sort of see like a translucent rogue, but you still see the actual model. But the hunter, the whole like see-through glassy look that they got going on is actually really difficult on the eyes specifically, just to see, unless you know exactly what you're looking for, like almost the whited out outlines. It is difficult to see. But for Toxic, that is going to be a full reset. For Blade, could not find him. Does port on top of him with an immediate stun. Trinkets out of it. Lexup is going to be Trinket right after. Blade taking a lot of damage. Fistafir for a second. Scatter right after. Does have a lot of damage. Condi is going to do a lot here. With Zuen. It was Zuen. Big kick to follow, but it's going to be Karma. Toxic got himself a turtle shell to live. Blade with a bit of that forward brute to try to see if he can survive as well. Is going to be Toxic backing himself out of that completely. Potentially could go for a freezing trap on Zuen if that thing closes the gap. Just kind of keeping the pet over with Blade, but he's going to be able to get a lot of self-healing actually if he goes in for Rise and Sun kicks off of that pet. Eventually that pet is going to go down. Toxic just sitting down for a food reset while Blaze also got himself Vivify. However, Toxic with his food is got much faster recovery than Blade. No trinkets available now, and only diffuse magic for Blade. I don't really know if Toxic got any walls or anything available, but he might be in a bit of trouble here. Toxic Doctor might actually be in a lot of trouble unless he can somehow get some CC onto Blade. Is going to open up with a closer shot that does do a decent bit of damage. Grenades potentially could give you a lot of go. It is going to be Clash forged by the Monk. Freezing Trap right behind you. The Monk just needs to walk backwards a little bit into the Freezing Trap, but he's got images. Massive damage on Toxic. Toxic could be in a lot of trouble. Incap just to hold him in place for a second. Let's see, have another big kick, knocking him up in the air, but Fury of the Eagle catches him last second. What the hell is that? Oh, and Rest in Hell not going to give you a chance. That was so good. Immediately starting up with a hunt onto Dan, or trying to see if he can bait out anything out of him. Trinket for Dan. Rest in Hell holding his trinket, but eating a full hammer. In prison, and it's just needs to back the hell out of there. Sigil of Fear, and that's all he's got right now. He's got to get himself as much recovery as possible. I-Beam going to help out a little bit. All those lesser souls you're going to pick up from that Sigil Spite are also going to help. Metamorphosis, trying to see if he can dodge a blind. Does dodge a blind, actually. That's huge. The Android still can get himself one hammer. The hammer just gonna go through the darkness. Lay on hands, he's perfectly fine, very alive and very happy. He's gonna be resting out, picking up a little bit of healing, but damage comes through before the bubble goes out. I think you gotta make sure as a paladin, always save a global for a bubble. Always save a global for a bubble. I think you just watching Rest in Health super low. He's like, you know what? Pummel him with as much damage as humanly possible. That's what I need. Rest in Health backing up out of there though. Versus Megami, who's got an altar, but Rastinel is just gonna try to see if he can back up out of it. Looks like somebody's still dropping meteors on him. Was it the Phoenix? Either the Phoenix or the Magus. Try to see if he can spell steal mages' buffs as best as possible. Is going to get a stun. Blade Dancer follow right after. Whatever health you got to recover. Massive damage. Oh my god, he's trying to play super aggressive. Megami still has a altar. No altar. Cauterize. So Megami is actually okay. Meg is actually perfectly okay. Try to see if you can run by him. Stun. Does drop him low with a bleed. With a dot. Just needs a little more damage. Just a little more. Oh, it does get to dodge those meteors with the last little slash at the end. Man, and Saya gonna be up next over for the team. I don't know how Rest in Hell is gonna be able to play with it against him. Unless he can take away some souls and then consume them. Saya, if he can walk up next to you, take up some souls, that'd be great. Because look, yeah. Every time he picks up a soul off of you, that is a bit of healing. That is also another bit of healing. And Saya's like, alright, you got full health. You got 2 souls out of me. You get out of here. Is going to hit him with a dot immediately. Look at Rest in Hell, dude. He just recovered and immediately less than half health. Less than 30%. He's literally already rotting. He's literally rotting right before our eyes with just the dot of Saya. Literally nothing this man can do. Sigil of Spite should help him get some souls out of here. Unfortunately, did not have Metamorphosis to get himself additional leech. He's not in a great spot. He's still looking for a lot of recovery. He's going to go flying up in the air. Saya is just going to go for damage, I think. He got the damage. It's going to be a DPS race between the two. Yep, Saya knows he has the damage. Unfortunately, I guess as a Demon Hunter, there's just not much you can do against a Paladin in this situation. Judy is trying to see if he can potentially clobber down Saya. Does get a lot of damage. Lay on hands, and Saya is already hurting. Judy needs that line of sight for those incarnations. Sorcerer just really do damage. That Dryad is actually doing a lot of damage from around the pillar. It's got dot protection from regenerating, so he's okay, actually. Yeah, Judy's just backing up out of there. I think Druids are going to have to wait until Trees and the Fury of Luna are back again. I think that's about all he can really do in this situation. Varus getting in a little early here. This could give Saya potential opportunity to break past and get some damage out. But unless Druid gives himself like the biggest go and a perfect angle, it's just going to be tough for him. Blessing a Saint ahead of that stun. It is going to be the shortest stun in the world, allowing Paladino to land a Hodge of his own. Disarm, I don't know if it stops a lot of Paladin's damage. Does go for Blessing of Saint, Blessing of Spell Warden. Druid does not have any physical damage, so all you can do is just run. Bear Form, Heart of the Wild, and run. Maybe Roar, maybe Clone. Try to go for a clone, but a Rebuke comes through. Druid's just out of options of cooldowns. Trying to go for yet another clone. Saya trying to see if he can go down ramp to maybe line of sight, but will not be hit by it. And for Druid, at least has some recovery. Knocking Saya back with yet another clone. Last one you got. Last one you got. Heart of the Wild, yet another heal. That's your one last big heal. Maybe you could pre-disarm a Paladin. I don't know if that would have done anything at this point. Farskin not going to be quick enough, man. Not going to be up quick enough. And Leo is the last one left or for that team too. Trying to give Saya maybe a little bit of a breather. Not really too much of a recovery, but it's like, hey, I'm dueling, yeah. And that's it. And he just rushes him. Saya still has a bubble, so maybe he could use a bubble to leverage that to reverse the damage back into Leo. It got himself lots of potential damage here. Just needs to wake up actions to follow up as well. Leo's looking pretty non-healthy right now, actually. Might be in a bit of trouble. Blind to follow. Searing Glare. Does not have Searing Glare to follow up by the looks of it. That or didn't feel confident using it there. But potentially dot damage on Leo. Just melt him. Stun is going to break out of it. I think Holy Scion potentially has it, though. It does pick it up at the end. The Paladino, man. You can't stop the Paladino. I love watching Rest in Hell, by the way, do the damage she did. But you can't really stop a Paladino at the end of the day. That is tough. That is tough. Dawn Light, dampening, not a lot of healing. It is a rough spot to be in, man.